Hello, internet drummers, YouTube. I don't really do video blogs, but I thought I'd say a few words. I heard this evening that Vic Firth has passed away. It's very sad news. He was 85. He was born in 1930. He may have been 84. I don't know if he'd had a birthday this year. And I think he's had a good innings is a fair thing to say. So I'm sorry to all of his friends and family for their loss, and I'm gutted. But I just wanted to say a few things about him and things that he's done or said that I've resonated with, and I think hopefully you can take something from. So I'll try and be brief. He always used the word perseverance. He set up his stick company completely inadvertently when he was around 20 odd years old, early 20s maybe, from what I know, and it was just out of necessity to create sticks for snare drum, side drum and timpani, mainly timpani, as timpanist for the Boston Philharmonic. He made some great sticks and people wanted them, so he made more, and he expanded, got a lathe, and went owning the biggest stick company in the world. So anyone who says you can't achieve your goals, just think about Vic and think about perseverance. Okay. He was a student of George Lawrence Stone, who wrote the book Stick Control. So students of mine will hopefully have heard of that book, and lots of other people. So great drummer. I wish I could have seen him play a snare drum or a drum kit. I imagine his kit playing would have been interesting, but he played for the Boston Philharmonic for 50 something years. I'll tell you a little story about that job later that he told me. He wrote a book, or possibly more books, a book on snare drum technique. So if you're interested in the history of modern snare drum playing, particularly pop music and orchestral music, check out Vic's work on that. He's also enabled lots of other educational things to happen. If you think about the Tommy Igoe series, none of that would have happened, or at least not happened to the extent that it has happened, without Vic's support and pushing right when the internet was quite new, helping Tommy Igoe get his videos out there for 50 odd different grooves in different styles. And I remember in the late 90s, early noughties, downloading a bunch of videos, and they were this big and they took 10 minutes to download, but it was really helpful. So thanks to Vic for helping get things like that out. Also now he promotes massively for Mark Wessel's, and pushes out books from Alfred Publishing, my publisher, and also Hudson and other publishers. Anyone who wants to support Vic puts books into the professional drum teacher program, and then at the seminars those books are given to teachers, and it comes from funding from Vic and from those publishers. So very helpful for teachers and spreading the drum love and the knowledge, good knowledge. A note on his business, all American. I don't think he was anti anyone, but he wanted to run an ethical business. So everyone that I've ever met that worked for Vic Firth was great. Ben Davies, Neil Larrivee, Mark Wessels, Christian Lyman, Brian Scheidecker, all those guys, all loads of enthusiasm and passion for the instruments that they play, and using homegrown materials, developing production methods, and then channeling that money back in to the books and the professional drum teacher program, which, even if you've never heard of it, has probably helped you at some point. The educational material on the Vic Firth website, hundreds of hours of videos and articles, resources for players of all types of instruments. So, you know, the ethics, huge inspiration there. Vic would always talk about integrity alongside perseverance. The education program I've mentioned obviously helps someone like me as a teacher, being able to get my hands on the material at discounted rates, and get students involved in quality products. If nothing else, it took me 10 years to try out 100 different models of stick to figure out which ones I liked playing and which ones I didn't. So when I signed on with Vic and they sent me a couple of dozen different models of stick, it was really helpful to say to students, try these out, you know, figure out what you want to do. And a lot of those sticks are still in my studio. So yeah, quality stuff there, and really giving something back. Also, anyone who's interested in professional events such as PASIC, which is held each year in America because of Art Society Convention, the NAMM shows, the Frankfurt Music Messe, Vic Firth Company have always been really helpful with getting passes for people who can't afford to go or can afford to go, but they're closed door events. Always been very welcoming to get people like myself who are quite provincial from miles away from America into those sorts of events to really get involved in what's going on, to try and have an impact, you know, as a teacher a long way from Boston, but doing some good, you know, in the eyes of everyone. A story from Vic. He said when he was graduating from the music school in Boston, when he was, I guess, 21, 22, he told his tutors that he'd got a job over at the Boston Phil, and they apparently laughed and said, as what, a janitor, or something to that effect, and they were going to give him a lower class of degree, and he'd got the chair as principal timpanist, and he kept it for over 50 years. So I think they upped him to summa cum laude or some sort of top class degree, because they didn't want one of their bottom graduates to go and play in such a prestigious position. So always delivering his stories with good humour, and apparently there was one conductor one year who would do very small movements, and one of the back row players, or maybe another percussionist, thought he'd be hilarious and pulled out a small pair of binoculars, which got a giggle out of the orchestra in the call and the rehearsal, but either got him in a lot of trouble or fired. So binoculars for microconductors, that's a story straight from Vic. And I've written a list here, I'm just checking it. I just want to say, persevere with your goals. Vic's always said, you know, no one knows where a teacher's influence ends. I've learned bits from just being around him, the 10 or so times I've met him and spoken to him. He's always been really kind. I emailed him once, you know, 7-ish years ago, and he just phoned me. You know, he had time for people, which is really important, part of having integrity. And that was an inspiration. So persevere with your goals, and you will achieve things. And I think too many people say so-and-so is a natural drummer, or a natural computer programmer, or a natural runner, whatever it may be. I certainly didn't feel like a natural when I was 15, when I started playing with my Vic Firth 7ANs. Thank you for my first teacher for sorting those out for me. Yeah, persevere with your goals, and you will achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. So thanks, Vic, and rest in peace, and I hope that your family and your company can continue to push all the positive things that you've taught us about and helped to create in the world. Thanks.